Greetings to all. Welcome to Future Officers Academy. Today we are going to see hot topic of the year session 24. So in this we are going to discuss about the topics of adoption rules and regulations and Vienna Convention. Now we'll have detailed analysis of these two topics. First, we have to know about adoption and their rules, what it is basically the adoption means and what are the adoption motivations and the process which we follow in India. Here, adoption is the process through which a person assumes parental responsibility for a child who is not biologically his or her child, and the child so becomes the legitimate child of his adoptive parents with all of the rights, privileges, and duties that come with being a biological child. Now, what motivates this adoption? To overcome infertility, also to become parents, to assist a needy child, to avoid difficulties during pregnancy, to avoid the transmission of genetic abnormalities or diseases, concern about children, to keep population increase in check. So, the adoption process in India, how it is followed. About first legislation adoption in India. Adoption in the country is governed by three laws. The first is the Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, that is HAMA. It was enacted in 1956, which applies to Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and Sikhs. The adoption is irrevocable under this statute and it grants the child complete status as a natural child born to the family. It also gives the right to inherit the property. The next is the Guardian and Wards Act of 1890. It governs adoption for Muslims, Parsis, Christians, and Jews. According to the Gawa, the connection formed upon adoption is merely that of guardian and ward. Adoption under Gawa does not bestow child status on the adopted child. This differs from Hamma. Next, juvenile justice care and protection of children act. So it was replaced the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2000. It applies to all Indian citizens. It makes it possible to adopt two children of the same gender. It bestows the status of parents and kids rather than guardians and wards. It also grants the adopted child the same rights as biological child. It in particularly offers a complete framework for domestic and international adoption of orphans, abandoned children, and surrender children. Now, what are the other major legislations? In India, the Central Adoption Resources Authority, that is CARA, is the statutory entity of the Women and Child Development Ministry that serves as the nodal agency and is responsible for monitoring and regulating in country and inter-country adoptions. It also regulates the adoption of orphaned, abandoned, and surrendered children through which affiliated or recognized agencies. In 2021 Adoption First Amendment regulation, it modifies the 2017 adoption regulations. The revision was notified per relevant provisions of the Juvenile Justice and it modifies the adoption regulations 2017. And now, the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Amendment Act 2021 aims to tighten and streamline rules for child protection. It also specifies that rather than the court, such adoption orders shall be issued by the district magistrate, including the additional district magistrate. India adopted the UNCRC, that is United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, in 1992 and Hague Convention on Inter-Country Adoption in 1993. It maintains a database of children and registration of the prospective parents and a centralized child adoption resources information and guidance system. So, Now, who is eligible for this adoption? Under the Provisions Act of JJ Act 2015, an orphan, abandoned, or surrendered child who has been certified legally free for adoption by Child Welfare Committee may be adopted. A relative child, that is a parental uncle or aunt, a maternal uncle or aunt, a paternal and maternal grandparents, is defined under the subsection 52 of section 2 of Juvenile Justice Act 2015. Children from various marriages surrendered to the biological parents. Who can adopt them? As per the Adoption Rules 2017 and as per the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015, which was issued by Ministry of Women and Child Development, physically, intellectually and financially stable with no life-threatening physical conditions, married couple 2 years of solid marital connection with the consent of the both spouses. The married couple's composite age shall not exceed 110 years. A single woman can adopt a child of any gender, but a single guy cannot adopt a girl child. A single parent's age cannot surpass 55 years. The minimum age difference between the kid and either prospective adoptive parent should be 25 years. In case of related or step-parent adoptions, age criteria do not apply. Couples with 3 or more children are not considered unless they are adopting children with special needs and who are difficult to place. Apart from resident and non-resident Indians, even overseas citizens of India and foreign parents can adopt children from the country. To adopt a child less than 4 years old, the maximum composite age is 90 in the case of couple and 45 in the case of a single parent. For adopting a child above 4 years old, the maximum composite age for the couple is 100, while the maximum age for single parent is 50. For adopting child between 8 and 18 years, the maximum age is 110 and 55 years for a couple and single PAP respectively. Now, what are the issues seen under this? Adoption waiting times have climbed from 1 year to 3 years in the last 5 years. Because of their own experience with their original family, some children in foster care may not want to be adopted. When children are adopted but then returned to their birth families, there are complications. There have been reports of widespread fraud and inter-country adoption rackets. And Mother Teresa's Missionaries of Charity in Ranchi came under fire in 2018 for its baby selling racket after a nun from the shelter confessed to selling 4 children. There is a big disparity between the number of persons who desire to adopt children and number of legally accessible children for adoption. So that's all from this topics. Our next topic is about Vienna Convention. It is an international treaty which was adopted on April 18th, 1961 in the Vienna, Austria and entered into force in April 24, 1964. So it is considered a cornerstone of modern diplomatic law and practice. The treaty sets out the rights and responsibilities of diplomatic missions and their personnel as well as the principle governing diplomatic relations between the states. The Vienna Convention aims to codify and clarify the rules and customs of diplomatic law. It provides a comprehensive framework for diplomatic relations to ensure the smooth conduct and diplomacy and protection of diplomatic agents and missions. The convention applies to diplomatic missions which include embassies and legations as well as the diplomatic agents such as an ambassadors, charges, affairs and other accredited representatives of a sending state in a receiving state. Some features of the convention are: first is inviolability. Next, diplomatic immunity. Freedom of communication. No interference in internal affairs. Next, duty to respect laws and regulations. termination of diplomatic relations. Next, consular relations, optional protocols. So these are the some of the features of this convention. Now, which are other laws govern international diplomatic relations? First, Vienna Convention on Consular Relations, that is in 1963. Similar to the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations, this treaty governs the establishment and conduct of consular relations between states. It outlines the rights and duties of consular officers and the consular premises inviolability. Next is customary international law. It consists of a long-standing practice and norms accepted by states. It plays a crucial role in diplomatic relations, as some diplomatic practices have developed over centuries and considered customary. Now, next is bilateral and multilateral agreements. Many countries establish diplomatic relations through bilateral agreements outlining the specifics of their diplomatic ties. Multilateral agreements such as United Nations Charter can also influence diplomatic relations. Now, state sovereignty. The principle of state sovereignty is a foundational concept in international relations. It asserts that each state has the right to conduct its affairs without external interference. This principle is central to diplomatic relations. Next is international organizations. Various international organizations such as United Nations and regional organizations play roles in facilitating diplomatic relations, especially in conflict resolution, peacekeeping efforts. So that's all from this topics. To read this document, you can visit our website. Our website link have been provided in the description. To get more daily current affairs videos, follow YouTube channel, also our Telegram channel. Thank you.